Right, we're off.
Well, I'll get rid of that now. I'll get rid of that. My screen. Oh. My mouse has decided not to work. Can you see that, all of that, or is it part of it hidden?
Part hidden.
Part hidden, yeah.
You can move your people to the bottom.
Right. Okay. Let's just go. I'll just go. Right. This isn't working very well, is it, to start with? I don't want to go. I want to go the other way. All right, go back. I'll just. Oh God. Right, I'm going to stop that a minute and start again.
Go lay down. Mute yourself.
Trouble with buying a Mac when you're not used to it. Right, okay. I'm just trying to go back to the beginning a minute. Oh God! Right, can you all see me anyway? Yeah. All right. Let's do it the way I've got it, because you don't think you need that at the moment. Okay. So a couple of things that I just thought we'd go over. So a legal update, which was is Northwood versus Fern. Now I don't know if any of you have been following this, but basically Northwood estate agents issued a notice to quit on a tenant, and the tenants said the landlord was a limited company and the notice had to be signed by 2 of their directors, so they weren't getting out. It went to court, and the court upheld it and said that was right, which was going to leave Northwood with a bit of a nasty headache, to say the least. So they took it to appeal. It's just gone to appeal, and David Smith, that actually does some of the legal stuff for us, was involved with that. And the Court of Appeal have just overturned it. So basically saying that that's not right, and you don't have to have a landlord sign. It doesn't have to be signed with the directors, and as an agent you can. So it's worth you just knowing that, because if you may get the odd landlord who will say something about it, having heard about it, but as it stands at the moment, and that's absolutely fine, and you can carry on. Whether that will go any further at the moment, I don't know. I suspect it probably won't, and no doubt some landlords things got hold of it, and is the ones that's actually set the whole thing off, I suspect. Japanese knotweed. I don't know if you've all seen the update on Japanese knotweed. So the RICS have issued new guidance to their surveyors, which basically overrules all the previous advice. So the advice that it was caused damage to your property and everything like that has now been established. So that's actually not true. And there used to be a certain distance if Japanese knotweed was, I think, within 3 meters of the property, or it might have been 7 meters. They had to mention it on the survey. That supposedly has been overturned as well at the moment. They can mention that there's Japanese knotweed in the survey, but it shouldn't stop people getting mortgages and things like that. So that's actually quite an important one that's actually come forward there. So those are the 2 legal updates. I've got something to come on to in a minute, which is about today's announcement about levelling up, but I'll come back to that. Ravensworth Hub. So the Ravensworth Hub is all up and running, and we've got a number of agents now on that. Nick, you've actually used it, haven't you? Could you just perhaps comment on that?
Yes, Steve. Yeah, we've done a few 2020s postcards. So yeah, very, very easy to use, easy to build, easy to put your own text in, add pictures, picture of your staff, whatever you want really, and then you buy the data of the street you want to send it to, upload it, and Ravensworth send it, and they send you a copy as well. And I think it's 54p a card, which obviously is still cheaper than a second-class stamp. So yeah, really good, to be fair.
Excellent. So basically, if you're not on the hub and you haven't been one of our guinea pigs, if you want to go on it, we've got all our marketing material on it. So if you want to use our marketing material with your branding on it, it means you can add your branding and print off the leaflets and things, or have them printed by Ravensworth. For those of you who don't know, Ravensworth was sold to Zoopla, I think, and it was a bit of a disaster. I suspect everyone stopped using it because Zoopla owned it, and it's now been sold back to the previous management. So on the hub, you can go to our marketing material, but you can put your own stuff on there. You can do all the 2020s and things like that on there. So that's all set up to go for if anybody's interested in doing it. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this my PowerPoint to work again. The prize draw. Who's doing the prize draw? I know some of you are. Quite a lot are doing the prize draw, and we're getting a lot of entries coming in for that. If only I could. I think what I'm going to have to do is just close that a minute and reopen it, and then I might get where I want to go. So if you can give me 2 seconds. Nothing wants to work here. So the prize draw, if you aren't using it, it's all been tailored. So the artwork can be done for your particular office. So it's the idea is it looks like it's your office doing the draw. And there's a prize of 2022. The whole idea of the draw was to get you valuations and make sure you were included on the valuations. Whether it's achieving that, no idea, but with the number of entries we're getting on, clearly people are actually using it on there. Oh, this is really annoying. All my artwork. Distinctly West Country magazine. So we're trying to get that out now. So everyone's getting a half page free on the West in the Distinctly West Country. So obviously, if you've got more than one office, you get a half page for every office that we've got on that. Joe, when was it you wanted the stuff in for? Oh, she's disappeared. I think Joe.
I'm here. I'm using my stuff.
When do you want the copy in for Distinctly West Country?
End of February at the latest.
Okay, so if people could get onto that and get some get their stuff in, then we can get the magazine out on that one. So that's the bits and pieces there. AML and GDPR. So we will have any day now an updated compliance.
Sorry, Steve, can I just interrupt? On the Distinctly West Country, how many copies of the magazine are we each getting, and can we get more if we need them?
Yes, you can get more. and
how much will it cost?
I normally give everybody 40 copies. I think it depends on how many you want. I think as long as we're not going up to the hundreds of thousands, more copies don't really cost an awful lot more, right. You know, a couple of quid. So I think I'll just do the maths at some point. I mean, if you know you want 1,000 or something, do let me know and I'll add that on as I go along.
No, I can't see us wanting that many, but they are really good to take out on valuation.
Yeah, they are.
So we'd want enough to do, I don't know, 6 months worth of valuations or something with, if we could.
So a few hundred there. Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
That.
Anyone got anything on that? Oh, I need to get that working. Right. Okay. Okay. So that's on. So AML and GDPR. The new manual will be out any day. What you should be doing is training all your staff and giving them refresher training every year. I know that Nick and Lindsay have had HMRC onto them, so you know they are floating around. So what we've done a deal with David Beaumont, who's got an online course that all your staff can go. So we are going to pay for 12 months online GDPR training for you as agents, so that you can get all your staff on there. They can go on and do the modules, and they get the and then what we'll do. I'm not sure if that actually does it, but we'll make sure you get certificates, and we'll do some marketing to go with it to promote that you're part of a fully trained network. Improving standards in estate agency. So so that will all be part of it. So as soon as we know that we've got the list, we just basically need to know who your staff are, what their email address is, and then we can get them all registered onto the system and get them up and running, and then that'll run for 12 months. From Nick and Lindsay's experience, you're better off trying to get all your staff trained up at pretty much the same time. Is that right, Nick or Lindsay? Yeah, got a nod.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve. Yeah, that's what they said to us. We were surprised, like you, but they didn't like the fact that we were doing it throughout the year. They wanted them all trained at the same time on the same matter we were discussing at that point, which seems a bit strange when you've got different people starting throughout the year.
Yeah.
So, but as I said, the experience wasn't great, so we will toe the line and do what they want.
So I think it's quite a lot of money we're having to pay to get that up and running, but I think it will just, if it covers you guys and gets you all trained, then that's obviously worth doing. I was going to go over agency software. Now, I think with so few people, it might be something that perhaps we ought to set up as a separate thing. Obviously, the situation with Expert Agent is obviously it's owned by Zoopla. They call it one of their legacy softwares. And when you've got the word legacy software, it means basically they want to get rid of it. I understand a few people have had 11% increases on fees this year from them. I don't know how that plays out against other people really, but obviously some have switched. So we've had people, so the only thing from our point of view is getting a feed of your data, which goes onto the website. But I think as quite a few of you have actually now, ones that are on this meeting, have switched or are looking at it. So I think we might actually put that up as a separate one, Joe, and perhaps do it as a general discussion on software especially for the ones that are on Expert Agent, and everybody on, then people can talk about the software that they're using and how they're getting it. So we've got a real range from the bigger companies such as Repit down to Vault EA, which some of them are using, which is an Australian software been brought over here. The single offices ones on Vault have found it's absolutely brilliant, and I think the multi-offices ones have found it a little bit more, I wouldn't say complicated, but basically having to adapt the software from being an Australian one to a British one. But they are very proactive and do things really quickly. So we did actually have an online Zoom meeting with Australia the other day on that, and Andy Poundsbury's talking to them because I know that those guys used it. I think is it Forest Marble using it, Joe?
Yeah.
Forest Marble are using it and think it's absolutely fantastic. So okay.
If it's any help, we've been using it for a few months now. The only thing I would say, the concern we have is it's better than Expert Agent in a lot of ways. The problem that we found with it is management information. It doesn't provide the management information for each person and what they've been doing. It's great at the front end, but just have a look at that before if any of you are thinking of changing, because it is a bit of an Achilles heel that they say is there, but it's not quite there as much as you would need for your KPIs and stuff.
Right. Okay.
But it's very good.
Okay, so that's on fee. On office refurbishment, so basically what we've done in Exeter is we used the opportunity of what was going on to renegotiate the lease at Exeter. So basically what we've done is we've halved the size of it's in the process of being done, of halving the size of the office, because clearly we weren't using a big chunk of it. So what that will do is leave us still with a training room in Exeter and the offices that we've got, but basically we'll be sharing the kitchen, and there'll be a couple of small offices there which in fact one of the guys is just a single guy that's taken it over, who's a building engineer or something. But what that's actually done is it's actually, because we've saved money there, we can push that money back into the training and doing it in people's areas. So the idea is that we can do training in Exeter, but we can do training in Cornwall, or we can do training in Somerset. All we really want to know is if you want training in your area, what kind of training course you want, and give us an idea of a location that we can do the training in. And even down to the trainer, if you've got a particular trainer that you really like, so that we can set that all up for you. And the majority of the training, and the vast majority, is going to be free for the foreseeable future. There's one that Joe's just been negotiating with at the moment that may not be viable to be free, but all the training and that will be free from there onwards. And what I'll do is in a second I will try and get the slide up that's got that for you. Right, that's better. Yeah, so and what we'll also try and do with most of the training courses is do them as a hybrid training course. So if it's an on-site training course and somebody can't get there, we'll try and set it up with a video link so people can watch the training course online if they can't physically get to the office. But clearly we want people at the offices where it's on site because they are more expensive. And I'll come back onto training in a minute with what we've actually organised. The big problem at the moment is that most trainers do not want to do on-site training. The majority of trainers want to go and stay online. They've got different reasons for that. Clearly, they've found out they can actually make more money, I suspect, doing it that way. But some of them have got family problems and things like that, so which has pushed them down that route. One of the ideas we had was doing inductions for new staff on experts in property. I'd be interested to know what people think of that, so that we give a presentation to the new staff, hopefully using the PowerPoint which we can get to work, and just explain to them what the benefits of the experts in property are, the benefits of training and everything like that, so that they can understand what they're part of and involved on and what the benefits are and use it. What's people's ideas of doing that, thoughts of that?
Yeah.
So what we'll perhaps do is try and just give that a go. We've worked on a presentation which we're getting together now, so we'll work on that and get that from there. Southeastern London exhibitions, we're looking at trying to get those back into place and trying to look for some other venues. So if anyone's got any estate agents in the southeast area that they've got any association with, if you could let us know, then we'll approach them and see whether we could use their offices and do them more in the kind of the commuter belt area, because I think there's no doubt about it, everyone's buying properties down here and they all think it's the way forward, don't they? So if anyone's got any on that, we've got a couple of names that we're going to speak to and see where we go with that side of it. Future marketing, there's ideas. If you've got any ideas for future marketing that we could get going, that would be great as well. At the same time, and then any marketing material you require. And I guess the last point I've got here is how best we can communicate with you, because clearly we have a huge problem with in terms of communication. So I don't know what we can do what is the best way to communicate. So I don't know, anyone got any ideas?
I just think,
Anyone?
could we have a look at obviously what we've done as directors, but as a larger group, so getting a mobile number for each director or manager of each office and having a joint WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp.
What we could do is for my motorbike club, we use a thing called Slack. And Slack is considerably better than using it's similar to WhatsApp, but you can set it up using an email address. Right. And the advantage of Slack is you can put channels into it, so it can all be subject matters. So WhatsApp, the trouble with WhatsApp, when you start a message and then somebody puts something different on there, it all kind of gets lost in the ether. If we set up Slack, and we could try it, and we've set it up, and we have got it, we've set it up. So perhaps it'd be worth us trying to get some people on that. And
I've never heard of Slack, but that's a great idea. And I think what we'll have to do is to ensure we've got 100% actually using it. I know this could be labour intensive, Joe, but between us and the other directors, it's actually just phone through every agent, we create a list and we ring and we actually talk them through downloading that app and getting it and making sure they're on it, so that before we actually start sharing information on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I don't think you can see it very well, but if you can see there, so we've got different channels to club communication, group rides, group nights. And if somebody puts a message on that group, it alerts you, but it shows you exactly where that message and that thread is.
Yeah.
So you can have training, you can have marketing, you can have all the different threads on there, and it's actually free to use. It's actually a free app. So up to a certain number of people, then you have to start paying. But I think if we could get it up and running and try that, that might work. And I think the other thing we were chatting about yesterday was to see whether with the Ravensworth Hub we could do a direct mail marketing thing back to the offices, where we do a newsletter so that actually physically is sent to the office and drops through their door. Because I think the trouble is that clearly emails and things like that are getting lost in the ether at times. So perhaps we'll try and set up a channel on that and see whether we can get as many on it as possible and give it a go. I think once it's there, people might well start using that.
In terms of future meetings like this, is there any plans to have face-to-face meetings again anytime soon? I know different people's situations vary, but I think we're all
coming on to that one.
Okay. Because I think for me, communication face-to-face just beats this hands down.
Yeah.
I think everyone would agree with that. So
yeah, I absolutely agree. And as an old duffer, I hark back to the days when we had lots of lovely local area meetings. But in all honesty, we had as many problems then with people turning up as we do for stuff like this.
Yeah, I'll come back to that one in a second. Well, actually, it's on the next. Anyway, just before I go, because we've downscaled the office, we're going to have quite a few chairs and tables spare. If anybody knows, like a village hall, community centres, anything like that, that might appreciate them, if you could let us know, then perhaps we'll funnel it through the office that's doing it, so you can get some publicity that you've donated some tables and chairs to the local village hall or whatever, and get some publicity out of it. We don't want any money for it, but they're all good quality. And we thought one of the offices was going to take them all, but they've changed their minds now. So they're just like, well, you know what they are. I mean, what we use is the boardroom up there and that. So we've got a load of the tables that make in different formats, and they're all good quality blue chairs. So if anybody's got any contacts like that, if you could let us know. Right, I am going to try and share my screen again now, and hopefully, right, okay. Okay, so training courses that we've organised, or no, Joe has organised. 22nd of February, Claire Yates is going to do negotiation skills on site in Exeter. We'll send you a copy of all this. 23rd of February, Stephen Brown's going to do creating opportunities, which will be online. David Beaumont is going to do HMRC requirements and statutory regulations. So that is a course just telling what you should be doing, really. So we're just waiting for a date from David on that. Both Stephen Brown and David have had deaths in the family and things like that, which is why they're not keen on, or they haven't got the ability to do on site. And then the 2nd of March, got Claire coming again, doing problem solving and teamwork on site in Exeter. And we've penciled in a date with Tim Wakeling to do selling skills and prospecting on site in Exeter on the 16th of March. So those are all organised. The other thing that we're looking at, and we've been chatting to them, is some of the trainers, because they're doing online, they run courses as obviously ongoing. And we're going to look at kind of hooking into some of those. So we're going to get some of their dates so that you'll be hooking into one of their general training courses. But the difference is that we'll pay for it for you. So most of their online training courses are like 60 quid. To go straight to, so we're talking to them, and then we'll get their dates off them, and you can go onto those courses on that. And then we've been chatting to Nick about doing a group members meeting and trying to do that. The first one will probably be up in Somerset, and then what we'll do is we'll still make it available by Zoom for anyone's further away. And if we can get people to meetings, and I think now people will start coming to meetings again, I think generally, we're going to try and start doing that. So we haven't sorted an actual date out, but that we will definitely go to face-to-face meetings. But all those courses are all there, and as I say, all of those courses are going to be free for people to go to. Anyone got anything that we should extra that we should be doing on training, or particular courses that they want?
The Stephen Brown one covers cross-selling and things like that as well. So if anyone thinks that their staff need to think about cross-selling a bit more, that's a good one. And we've bought a camera as well. So even the face-to-face ones can be hybrid. If you can't spare everyone out the office at the same time, we will be doing them real time face-to-face, but you can dial in and see us. Okay, so we'll get all those dates out to you, but if you want to book any of those, if you get on as quickly as possible, as long as we can get, obviously we like Claire Yates, it'd be nice to get a reasonable number of people there, because they're not cheap getting people down to do on-site courses, so it'd be good to have a reason for that on that. Okay, screen still went with it. Right, I'm going to stop that then. And come back here. Okay, so I don't know if you saw today, most of you, that, well, I'm sure you've heard on the news, the government have issued this levelling up paper that they've actually put out. One of the, or a couple of things that are in it that affect us as in the housing market is they've confirmed that Section 21 evictions are going to be scrapped. I think what will happen, and what's happened during all the consultation on this, is we expect more reasons to be added to Section 8. If you're not, so they'll add more reasons why you can issue the notice. So I actually don't think, if you get talk from landlords and things, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference in terms of serving notice and getting people out of properties. I think the problem is going to come for you as letting agents. You've obviously going to have to state a reason why you're giving them the notice. And clearly, if the notice is because they've been a pain in the arse, then you're going to probably get kicked back from them arguing the toss about that. And I can see that as an agent being the problem and keeping it documented. Because I think being able to sell the house is going to be one of the things that they'll put in Section 8. But clearly, if you serve them a notice saying they're going to sell the house and that tenant finds out later and it hasn't been sold, then that's when problems are going to arise. So I don't know if anyone else has got thoughts on that at all. The other thing, the other couple of things is a minimum decent home standard that they're talking about. Now, I've actually gone on to the, you wouldn't believe it, but for social housing, there's already a minimum decent housing standard considered at the moment. But basically what that says, it has to be in a reasonable state of repair. It should have a modern kitchen, 20-year-olds or less, kitchen with adequate space, modern bathroom, 30 years old or less, appropriate located bathroom and toilet, adequate insulation and against noise, and a reasonable degree of thermal comfort in terms of insulation and heating. So I don't think there's anything in that will affect most of you with the properties that you're letting out. I wouldn't have thought, but that's what's there at the moment. So I suspect that's the bones of what they'll pick up in terms of minimum decent home standard. So again, I don't think most of your landlords will have too much. If you've got any ones that won't spend any money on and they aren't particularly good, Nick, then there might be more of a problem there. If anybody wants a copy of that, I mean, it's if you just put decent home into the Google, you'll pick up the government section for it, and there's a couple of pages, Section 4. If you can't find it, let us know and I'll get you a copy of it. And then the final thing is that they're going to issue a consultation on a landlord's register, which I know they keep talking about, and they're going to clamp down on rogue landlords. So I guess what would be good for us is if you've got any landlords exiting the market, it would be useful to know and the reason they're exiting, because we'll try and then put something together when they do their consultations and things. So it'd be useful to know if you've got loads of land saying, oh, I've had enough, there's yet more red tape coming, we're getting out, just so we can know that, and then we can actually use that
and put something together. The last time we put something together, we actually, it did come good, and obviously not just us. And I do actually belong to and follow the National Landlords Association, and they're quite hot on this. I mean, they're going to be really on the ball on getting evidence together and stuff. So has anybody got anything on that at all? Is anybody excited about that? Yeah. That's everything I've got on what I'm doing here. So has anybody got anything else that want to discuss? All very quiet. See, this wouldn't happen at a meeting, would it? It wouldn't be quiet like this.
You normally can't shut estate agents up, Steve, but we're all mute today.
We're all muted.
Sorry, thanks for running through all that. I know it's difficult when you're trying to present, and we're all glumly looking back at you, aren't we? That's the trouble. But I think, like Ben said, to get back in a room will be absolutely fantastic, so we can all chat normally.
Yeah, I think if we try doing that in March, I mean, there's clearly stuff coming up now that's starting to happen, so there will be things to talk about. And then if we do the other bits and pieces we're talking about with communication, that hopefully we can encourage a few more along. And we'll send, obviously the video is not too long, we'll send that out as well, and might encourage a few more to get along next time. So, all right, so we'll send everyone out. We'll get this Slack thing organised, and go from there with that one. And good luck with everything that's going on, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. That's great.
If anybody wants to just chat, I mean,
Thanks,
how
Steve.
things.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. How's life for you, Mark? Anyway.
Oh, I'm still here.
Are you back in an office? Are you back in an office?
I'm very much working in lettings at this moment in time. Yeah, we had a real problem trying to recruit staff. Trying to get good staff at this moment in time is very, very hard. It's taken me months to recruit. So hopefully I'll be taking a very big back seat as of about 2 weeks' time.
Right.
But it's been quite an eye-opener to actually be involved on a day-to-day basis in it, and to experience what you see your staff experiencing, I have to say.
Okay,
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But it's I'm quite interested to hear about the software side of things, because we've been still plodding on with the expert agent and the CFP, and I'm having a presentation from Repit and from Alto again, because I keep on getting these warning messages with CFP to say that my server is nearly full, and our IT guy said basically you've got about 9 months left with CFP before it dies on you. So it's having to do it. So I'm going through the booty parade now, so it's I don't know what other people are using. I think, didn't West Coast change to Repit?
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
Joe, have you stopped the recording?
No, I'm still recording.
I should stop that because we finished the actual main meeting. So.
All right.